Hello everybody, this is Tip Top Gaming, here today with another Magic the Gathering video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 2020 Challenger decks and their, value within each one. Now, I was originally going to compile this list myself, but thankfully, someone in the comments of the, revealed video said that MTG Goldfish has already done this, so I'm just going to use their list. I probably would have just exported the decks to MTG Goldfish, so they're going to be the same numbers as I would have gotten. So yeah, just note that these are, I believe, $30, although I have seen them jump up to $40, depends on where you are. And you'll get basically a 60-card deck with a 15-card sideboard. Now, all of these prices are on MTG Goldfish's website, which, I mean, you could say that they're a little bit higher. And they are before, this is right after the announcement happened, so I expect these prices to plummet as, they're being printed more, so there's less need for them. So, yeah. Now, taking a look at the actual art, this is something I didn't talk about in my last video, but it was in the thumbnail. Here's, the boxes and what they're going to look like. I actually think they look really good. They symbolize, kind of what the best card in each one is. I mean, this signifies more of a sacrifice theme, but that's still fine. And then Narset, yep, that's a big card. I may have, Chandra, recognizable character, so on and so forth. Honestly, I'm liking the art, but why don't we jump right into the value, because that's what you're really here for. So, starting with Allied Fires, it has a paper value of about $75 and an online value of about $12. Honestly, if you would have told me that this one was the lowest price, I wouldn't have believed you. I honestly would have said it was red, because red is mostly built of commons. I mean, it's not commons, but there are a lot of, cheaper creatures, and that's why they're generally easier to build. But looking at this, Kenrith, okay, he's $5.25, and then you got $9 for the 4 Narsets, $5 for the Deafening Clarions. There's just not that many cards that just have, a big value to them. I mean, Ashiok and Steam Vents honestly has the most value here, and that's a land. So this really just doesn't have that many good cards, and honestly, I'm going to be doing a video where I talk about upgrading these decks. That'll come a little bit later. This deck was the least exciting for me. It was the most underwhelming in terms of what they water down, because what they basically do is they go to MTG Goldfish and go to metagame, and then they pick some of the decks and water them down. Now, this one seems highly watered down. Now, it is highly, Planeswalker focused, which is a version of the deck. However, generally more creature-focused decks have been kind of popping up recently in terms of, the Cavaliers. So, yeah, that comes in at $75. Now, let me say something. $75 for a $30 product is not bad. Now, I expect this to probably drop closer to $30, so maybe $30-$40. But generally, that's a pretty good price. Now, looking at the breakdown, there's 1 Mythic, 24 Rares, 22 Uncommons, and 19 Commons. It'll be interesting to see how those change, too, because maybe you want to build this deck in Arena, or maybe they're even going to include Arena codes. That's what I would do. You'd be able to sell a lot more if people could know they are also going to get all these cards in Arena. All right. Moving into Final Adventure is number, 3, and that costs $94 or about $35 online, so that's a considerable price jump. If you're buying this for $30 and selling it right now, it's gonna be about 3 times the price, so they are really stacking these things full of value. Now, a lot of it comes from the lands, like Fabled Passage being $18.50. That adds a ton of value. Now, because this is seeing printing, was it printed here? No, it wasn't. That's kind of weird. But because it's seeing printing here, I expect this price to drop, which is good. A lot of people I see complaining about, I see a lot of people complaining about this product, and I understand the fact of you don't want to play against the meta decks. Well, first off, this is a watered down version of the meta deck, so if you can't beat this, you're probably not going to be able to beat a lot of other decks. But I think it's a wonderful product for a couple reasons. First off, when you get the product, you can show up to Friday Night Magic and be able to buy something and play that day. They need a product that can do that. Now, maybe this isn't the way you do it, but they do need a product that does that. Second, while this may be a watered down version, and it may be a meta deck, it also is a way to introduce reprints of highly needed reprints, like Knight of the Ebon Legion. $5 for this, and I feel like that could be a little lower. Now, that's not horrible, but Fabled Passage, for instance, that really needs to be lowered, and this is a way to mid-standard cycle reprint it. On top of that, for me, with my, with the Arcane, the red-blue one from last year, which was based around Phoenixes and Drakes, I was able to take that and upgrade it, and so even if you're looking at this being like, oh, this is a really watered down deck, you can look at, hey, I'm getting $94 worth of cards in a $30 package. So if I was going to get basically a lot of these cards, like Murderous Rider, if I was going to get those cards, I might as well just get this product instead. And on top of that, it just has a lot of uses, and I might do a video covering it where I'm like, hey, here's why this is a good product, you know, defending it against some people who think it's a bad product. But I think it's totally worth the price. If you're going to get $90 worth of value, which by the time it comes out again, it won't be $90 worth of value, but like buying the cards now would have cost you $90, so I think it's pretty good. Now, number 3 is number 2 is Cavalcade Charge. Now, this really surprises me that it's the second most expensive. Generally, red isn't that expensive, but then when you look at the price, Embercleave is what's really driving it up here. And again, it's probably good that this thing is getting a reprint. On top of that, Torbrand and Bonecrusher Giant are also propping up the value, although not nearly as much, because this is $23 for one card versus, you know, $15 for 4. Honestly, it surprises me that they're printing 4 Bonecrusher Giants, 4 Torbrands. Actually, I think this is the one with the most rares so far. Yeah, this has had the most rares so far, and it's just worth the most. And that's even surprising because it doesn't have a complicated land base. It's just red is becoming so powerful, but it's just it's a good value. And if you're gonna build a mono red deck, even if it's not this mono red deck, this can supply you with the Cavalcades you need, the Torbrands you need, the Bonecrusher Giants you need. And if we're just adding up those prices, we're already approaching the price of the product. Actually, I think we hit the price of the product. So if you're just looking for those 3 cards, buy this instead of those singles. That's pretty much how it is. And then, although obviously the prices are going to drop, so that won't end up actually being true. But Flash of Ferocity is number 4, and that is at $103, which actually, this is out of order. I believe this update's live, so as the prices change, this also changes. So originally, this was probably the most expensive. Now, this isn't fun. I don't like facing Simic Flash decks, and them promoting them is not that great, but I'm honestly not going to complain about it too much. People are going to build what they're going to build. It's good to get reprints that are needed out there. For instance, kind of like Embercleave, Brazen Borrower is going to get a reprint now. Nightpack Ambusher, it's very good. And now, so if you're looking to buy a product, honestly, if you're just looking at monetary value, you're going to want to pick Cavalcade Charge. I mean, red has been a consistent player in the metagame for about 2 years at least now. And that's just the time I remember. And so the fact that, you know, Embercleave is going to stay in standard for it'll be not next rotation, but the rotation after that, that means that this deck is probably going to be the best investment. I mean, cards, like, they're going to stick around. And so the deck's not really going to fall out. There's always going to be that mono red deck, it seems. And so if you're doing this for a monetary value reason, I would probably pick the red deck. Not only is that, but it's also the most expensive deck, although I guess it's less expensive online. On top of that, it has the most rares out of all the decks. So honestly, this deck is just set up to be the best. And in my future video where I talk about the power level, I'm also going to come to a similar conclusion because guess what? It's not that watered down. This is the best one. And that's the issue, is if one is clearly the best, stores have to buy these in sets of 4, and so then they're going to run out of the red ones, and if they want to buy more red ones, they have to buy all the rest of them. So, overall, that's not great. I wish they would have been closer in value, but whatever. These are overall a very good value, and if you're looking for, you know, maybe I'm not going to say a safe investment, don't take my financial advice, then I would pick these products up. They're really fun. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.